How's everybody doing today? My name is George Anderson with REI Branded Home Buyer. That's reibrandedhomebuyer.com if you want to go check us out online. You can also give us a call at 509-769-3439. I wanted to talk to you all about pets and how pets can damage your house. And I was thinking about what happened to me about 5 years ago, 6 years ago now. Wow, time flies. And I went to work, and my dog, he usually goes to work with me. I was flipping some houses at the time, and he usually just, lays it on the front yard whenever I'm working and stuff like that. But I happened to leave him at the house that night or that day. And he decided that he really, really wanted to go with me, and he was really upset about it, and he completely opened up the wall next to my front door. He tore the trim off. He completely ate through the drywall, pulled all the insulation out of the wall, and luckily there was wood paneling on the outside of the house, and he wasn't able to get out. But that's actually how I met my wife, and I'll have to tell that story a little bit more in detail a little bit later on, and I'll post a photo of it right up here in a second. And he actually ate through the wall and tried to get out, and I had to come home, and I looked at it, and my hair lit on fire, and that's the reason why I'm bald now. But what I did was I used that opportunity to show Facebook and everybody, hey, I'm a guy that can fix this kind of stuff, because I was a handyman at the time, and also that I know how to fix houses, but also I'm single. And believe it or not, that's how I met my wife. And so, but that got me thinking about how animals are completely destroying our houses all the time, whether we like it or not. In fact, I got a German Shepherd now, and when we first got her from the shelter, she would chew on the trim, and that was never fun. And we've been living here for a couple of years. I just painted over it, because I live here, and I'm not gonna fix it, completely up, all of it right now. I'm not gonna pull out my chop saw, my nail gun, and my air compressor, and caulking and paint and all the time that's invested in it. It's just, honestly, I'll just fix it when we move out of here. But that's the mindset a lot of us have, right? And I know a lot of people have rentals that when their tenants move in, they got to have pets. I mean, we all got to have pets. I love dogs, absolutely love dogs. And as you can see behind me, I have fish tanks also. I actually have one sitting over here, and I have another one right over there, right there. And they're 75 gallons apiece. That's a lot of water. That's about 300 gallons in this area. And if one of them cracks and breaks, you're going to see a lot of damage underneath the floor, probably the drywall. And maybe you might get some mold in the area. I run dehumidifiers constantly, so I try to keep the moisture down, but even then it can grow up, that biomass up inside the window well, and I'm constantly checking for that. I'm constantly spraying for that. And our tenants do have pets, and they might have cats. And one of my tenants, she has a cat, and the cat likes to go behind the blinds. Well, the blinds are all completely broken at the very, very ends, because the blinds these days, they're not made of metal, they're made of plastic, so they break off pretty easy, especially when they're in the sun for a couple years. They will break pretty fast. So there's a lot of pet damage that goes into houses, and we all as landlords know that sometimes we just don't want to fix it. Sometimes we just want to get rid of it and get it out of our hair. In my case, out of my beard. And I understand that thought process behind that. And so I'm just reaching out to landlords in this video. If you have a house that has a lot of pet damage, there might be some urine on the carpet or something like that. It gets into the subfloor. We we generally like to help you in this situation. You just don't want to deal with it anymore. It's a headache. We buy houses in Washington that are damaged by pets. And we also buy mobile homes, and uh, we also buy land, but that's not here nor there when it comes to pets. But we buy mobile homes in parks, even, especially in parks. That's one of our prime things that we buy these days. It, and we all know about the HUD, uh, you know, purchase and sale and all that stuff when it comes to HUD. And we know that it can't be financed in a certain condition, or maybe, like I said, you just don't want to deal with it anymore. It's just a headache. You own it outright. Whatever the circumstance might be, we can help you out here at REI Branded Home Buyer. Our specialty is helping homeowners out all over Washington, especially in Spokane. And I want to let you know too that you're not alone in feeling this way. It's very frustrating when all of the time and effort that you put into your house gets destroyed by an animal. And I mean, like I said, I have two dogs. Well, I didn't say that earlier, but I do have a German Shepherd, but I have another dog. So I have two dogs, and there's hair all over the place. Luckily, in our house, we don't have any carpet. We only have LVP throughout, and so the damage is very minimal when it comes to them, scratching up the floor or anything like that when they're running around. But that's not the case for many landlords here in the area. But if you find yourself in that situation and you just don't want to deal with it anymore, please reach out to us over here at REI Branded Home Buyer. Go to our website, reibrandedhomebuyer.com. Give us a call at 509-769-3439. And we'll make an appointment. We'll come out and take a look at your property, and we'll see if we can help you out. Now, fixing pet damage in a house is rather expensive. Putting LVP into a house, carpeting is expensive these days. Blinds are expensive. You got to come out and you got to measure them. I order mine from blinds.com, and they do really well, but you have to measure them yourself. And then sometimes you're just like, I don't know if I have the right measurements. I don't know if I'm doing this correctly. What if I'm off by an inch, and then all of a sudden you got 3 inches on each side of the window that are completely open, right? It could be problematic, and it takes a lot of time in between tenants too. Sometimes the tenants don't pay for the fixing of the house. They're like, oh, that was like that before, and maybe you did go through and take the pictures, and you're able to show it that they were the ones that were, that damaged the house, but they're just up and gone, and they leave, and sometimes it's just not worth chasing them down, for that extra $1,000 or something like that, considering that, we live in a time where people are not taking responsibility for their own actions. I understand what you're going through. I used to help manage a 600-unit apartment complex before I even got into real estate or even buying houses for that matter. I used to watch when people moved out of these places, and I was just a maintenance guy at the time, and I saw how much money it cost to put into each one of these places. It was, you got to paint the whole interior of the house. If there's pet urine on the ground, then you got to oil-based primer it. Then you got to get new carpet in, new blinds. Then you got pet dander inside the wall heaters and stuff like that, and so you got to clean those out. it's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort, it's a lot of money that goes into the fixing these houses that have pet damage. And that one day that Hercules, well, he was my pit bull boxer mix, when he damaged that wall, I was pretty frustrated at the time. I love my dogs. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love my dogs, but when they're working against you sometimes, right? And this goes for homeowners too. I'm sorry that the dogs that damaged your house, if that's the case, and I'm going through it too. I gotta tear out some trim that Mia chewed on when she first got here, because that was what she did. And yeah, it's trim. It's not gonna take too long to do. But it's time, it's effort into it and whatnot. And I want to make sure it looks good too. I'm not gonna just slap it all together. And we all have very we're all like in a rush to get things done all the time. So especially when we're not working in the field of construction, it takes a lot of time and effort to do this kind of stuff. And you might be a homeowner also here in Washington that has pet damage to the house, but know that if you don't want to fix it, you can always give us a call too, and we'll come and take a look at your house, and we'll give you an offer on it. So it's not fun. It's not easy. We love our pets. I understand that they could be a pain in the tuchus, and I hope that my videos are helping out in when I fixed the door, when I fixed next to the door in my house. Luckily I had the drywall there. I had the trim sitting there because I was fixing other houses too. I didn't have to go to Home Depot or anything like that. I was able to drywall it or cut it out, put the insulation back in, drywall it, mud it, tape it, texture it, and paint it. Throw the trim back on, caulk and paint that. It takes generally about 2 days because you want the texture and the mud to dry a few times before you throw it in. But it looked pretty dang good that night when I got home. And like I said, if you don't want to go through that process, even for a small patch like that, it's incredibly frustrating. I know. I've done it plenty of times. When you have a hole this small, you got to patch, this wide, right? Because you don't want to see that bump in the wall when you're looking down the side of it, and you're shining light on it and stuff like that. So the patches for small holes are pretty decent size. I know a lot of people that will patch that little hole. Next thing you know, you have a bump in your wall. So it takes a lot of time, and there's an art form to it, right? There's an art form to it. So yeah, again, if you don't feel like doing that, please reach out to our company, REI Branded Home Buyer, and we'll get over there and we'll see what we can do to help you out. All right. So thanks for your time, and I hope my videos really are helping, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye bye.